Today's adventure begins as the recording of is Thursday, July 10th, 2025. Not sure why I said the year in that fashion, but I am back in my hometown of Celebration, Florida, after being gone for more than 3.5 weeks to very far off international destinations. I went to Amsterdam first, then I went to England, Amsterdam, Netherlands for about a week. Then I went to England for about a week. And then for just about a week, went over to Paris. Went to France. But I'm back now. Back on my own, what I consider my own time zone. Which feels pretty good, to be pretty honest. To have kind of the normality back. What I consider normality, what I am more used to. I'm back. Just mobile ordered some coffee from Starbucks. Get a piping hot caffeinated beverage, start the day. I am not even really going to leave the celebration bubble today. Just going to stay put, have a relaxing time at home, do some things around town, walk the lakefront, see what I've missed over the past 3/4 of a month, and just see where the day leads. Welcome everyone, Adam the Woo here, and I'm inviting you, yes you, to join me. No real plan today. I am going to watch a little Rays baseball later. It's going to be nice to watch baseball before 1 a.m. first pitch, because I've been, 7 p.m. here first pitch was 1 a.m. in Paris, so there were some late nights, there were some interesting nights. So I'll be back on my own time zone for a little while. Join me, shall you? Current temperature at 1:13 p.m. 90 degrees. 90 degrees, which means in Paris right now, where I just was, it is 7 p.m., 7:13 p.m. And it looks like it's going to be only one cloud in the sky today, around 5. 90 degrees. It looks like tomorrow is going to be warm. I'm only here for 5 days. 5 days from today, I will be boarding a plane, and I will be heading off to LA for an undisclosed amount of time. Short while. Not too long, but not too short. While I was gone, some hearsay kind of popped out online, onto the interwebs and around town. Some speculation, some thoughts that have not been announced or confirmed that the theater might be reopening after well over a decade. Hasn't been 20 years. It's been well over a decade though. 12 years, 13 years? It's been a while that the theater has not shown movies, but there's a possibility to be able to go inside the Celebration movie theater once again. However, what I am hearing is it's not going to be for having films on the big screen. It's going to be used for something else, which I hope that's not the case. But at least we'll be able to walk back in there again. They're probably going to have to do a heck of a lot of work inside there if they're going to have to redo it. I mean, the snack bar is all still there. The screens are all still there. So it'd be nice if it opened as a movie theater. But word on the street is it will not be for showing feature films or classic movies or anything like that. But also, I was just in Paris staying at the Newport Bay Club Resort. And right next to that, on the Lake Buena Vista, their version of Lake Buena Vista there, was a New York hotel, which is now themed to Marvel. But the original New York themed hotel was built by an architect that designed quite a few things for Disney and also designed this post office. His name was Michael Graves, and he designed that hotel that I was staying next to in Paris, at Disneyland Paris. In fact, part of that New York hotel looks very similar to this. He also built the Swan and Dolphin, and he also built the building at the Disney Burbank Studios that has the dwarfs holding up the ceiling. That was him as well. Michael Graves. Not only am I back, but humidity is back in my life right now. Ooh, I'm in the shade and I can already feel my pores opening and the sweat starting to accumulate. I like traveling during this time of the year because I do not like the heat. Why I bought a house in Florida? It's stability, but yeah, I don't really want to be here during the summer. I've been doing a little thinking about early into next year, 2026. So 2025, I'm doing one new country a month. I'm going to be doing through all those. I'm going to end up knocking 12, plus England, add the 13. I'm going to have a baker's dozen worth of countries before Christmas time. But I think in 2026, I'm going to kind of slow down on that thought process a little bit. And once I get that goal of doing one new country a month in 2025, next year it's going to be a little bit different. Did this thing move yet? I don't know if it moved. Did it move? Let's just say it moved. I don't think it moved. We're doing a little construction over here. Got the genie out. That used to be the walkway I'd walk up to my former apartment. Had the apartment for 3 years before I ended up purchasing the house. I used to park over in this area right here. Very familiar parking lot. I'm thinking next year, during the winter months, January, February, I might stay put around Central Florida and enjoy the only couple months that are, that are nice, instead of trying to venture off and go to other places in other countries. So January, February, I might end up just enjoying the coolness of Central Florida in celebration. And then I'm thinking stay at home a little bit more. And then when I do travel to other countries, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I'll expand a little bit today. When I do travel to other countries next year, then I'll leave for a month, 6 weeks, and I'll knock out a bunch of countries in one patch of the world. Instead of trying to do one country a month, I could fly to one area that has a lot of countries in one little region, and then just kind of country hop, bounce around and do things. But that's next year, so I digress. We'll get back to 2025. And a big part of the reason I like to travel nonstop and just always stay busy is I just know the reality of life, and you never know what it's going to throw at you later on. Just trying to do it while I have the financial means to do so, and the health aspect. I feel like right now I'm probably not going to get any healthier than I am at the moment. It's all downhill from here, so you just never know what the future holds. So utilize what you're given. Utilize your blessings of time and having the money to go do things, and health. That's why I just always try to stay busy. I go stir crazy. I wake up and I want to go do things, and I want to get on planes and trains and automobiles. But one day it won't be that way. One day I will just say, I think I'm done. I think I'm going to take a step back, tone it down just a little bit. But right now that's not in the cards. Right now I like staying very hectic, very busy. My brain functions better when I'm almost under a little too much stress of always go, 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 go. Even on bad days when I have things happen that are just kind of annoying when it comes to traveling. In a way, it's exciting. It's almost like when something could almost go wrong, it makes life a little exciting. I can also see the writing on the wall, the reality, if you will, now that I purchased a house here in town. The other channel, the TheDailyWoo channel, which was my first channel, this kind of overtook that as the main channel. At some point, I'm still going to do the sit-down video desk podcast type of thing for that channel, but that might be a couple of years off. But I could really foresee myself years from now just staying put, being on mini Marge, not even, this might even break down, I might have to get another one. Not even taking my car anywhere, popping over to Disney. I could even take an Uber over there or a rideshare, get dropped off, saving me having to walk from TTC and all that. Get something to eat, watch a show, do an attraction, watch the fireworks, come home. That might be what I end up doing later in life on a consistent basis. And that might even be what a lot of these videos will be about. I try to mix it up now, but who knows, way down the road, if the mixing up of the travels will be what they are now. So again, trying to make the best of it and just do my thing. I have no plans to ever stop doing YouTube. I mean, unless the platform just completely crumbles in every way, shape, or form, which I don't see that happening. I feel like it's here to stay. I've talked about in the past about one day kind of walking away from all of it. And then I might take some breaks. But I don't really see myself ever fully quitting. It's taken me 15 years, 16 years of my life to get to this point. In fact, I believe TheDailyWoo started on July 2nd of 2012. What's that, 14 years? 15 years? 14 years? I just celebrated a anniversary. 13 years. I can't do the math. 13 years. And then 2 years before that, I uploaded my first video on New Year's Eve of 2009, so let's call it New Year's Day 2010, was when I utilized that Adam the Woo channel, which I was mentioning, which will eventually be where the video podcast ends up on. And I'll probably keep using the DailyWoo channel for daily woo type vlogs. And then the other channel will be more sit-down type of stuff. So I might have, I don't say double the content, but I might have more out there. The only difference is I probably wouldn't be hitting the road as hard. But I do have an end goal. It may not seem like I do, but I do have an eventual end goal. It's just a long way off. Doing a video podcast, doing some deep dives on things, hopping over to the parks, filming local events, only Central Florida stuff, driving over to the coast, assuming the Rays stay in Florida. If not, traveling to wherever they're playing. That's another thing too. People always ask, what if the Rays were to move? They were to go to Jacksonville, if they were moved to another state, if they were going to be in Orlando, which would be my ideal spot for them to be. If they stayed in Tampa, if they moved back to St. Pete, to go to the Tropicana Field again. I'm always going to support them and always going to be going to their games, watching them on TV. But I would be perfectly content later in life to just be a season ticket holder for the Rays if they're local. Popping over to the coast, watching them there, getting a hotel, going to a bunch of games, seeing them here in Orlando, going wherever they are, watching them on TV. Be better just to probably stay put, watch them on TV, or go to see them if they were the Orlando Rays, or over to Tampa occasionally. You just see myself watching baseball, popping over the parks, doing local events, and doing deep dives in a video podcast type of thing. I would be perfectly happy with that. I'm just thinking out loud. I've said too much. I'm not going to talk about it anymore, but yeah, it's just been popping in my head the last few days. I was recently talking to a buddy of mine who helped start and is part of an integral podcast that has become really successful. And he was telling me, just through us messaging back and forth, that he thinks I'm doing a little too much. And I agree. I think maybe I spin my wheels a little too hard. But I like it. It keeps me from going stir crazy. Pop inside the 192 celebration Publix. There's two of them. There's one over on Wool Drive. I call this one the 192 one, because even though it isn't a celebration, it's right next to 192. And I'm going to get my trusty standby for watching baseball, which is usually just a salad from the deli area, some cottage cheese, some chickpeas, and maybe one or two other items. And I'll eat them later when the game starts. It's wild when you're like traveling and doing other things, and then you're watching a game. I want my phone. I'm like, man, it'd be nice if I was home watching on TV, eating my chickpeas and my cottage cheese. So that's what I did. My first day back, that's just what I wanted to do. And then tomorrow I'm going to go outside the celebration bubble and do some other Central Florida stuff. But today, a relaxing day with chickpeas, cottage cheese, and some Rays baseball later. I don't know if this is really propane, because if this was really propane in there and it really was a Ninja, you wouldn't see it. That's like a failed Ninja. If you know the propane's there, that is not a true propane Ninja. You wouldn't even see the propane, right? I gotta rewatch Beverly Hills Ninja with Chris Farley and Chris Rock. A lot of people didn't like that movie, but I really liked it. It's Beverly Hills Ninja. What about Beverly Hills Chihuahua? That's another one I haven't seen in a long time. Why do I have Beverly Hills in my brain? I usually get one of these pre-packed salads down here. I always try to find the one where the lettuce is definitely fresher than some of the other ones. And then I get the Crunch Masters. Again, this is par for the course when I'm home. And then I get the classic hummus right there. Then I add the chickpeas onto it. Usually, if I am home, which is rare, 1 week a month I'm home usually, I would say 3 days out of that week, I'm getting this meal from either or Publix. Shout out to Publix. It was my first job other than mowing lawns in Eufaula, Oklahoma, under the table for people in the neighborhood. But it was the first job I ever had was at Publix in 1991 in St. Cloud, Florida. That was my first retail job where I punched a time clock. Right, I'm going to get my trusty can of chickpeas, the Goya garbanzos right there. I have never had Goya Great Northern Beans Judius. Oh, looks like Cape Cod Chips has some new chips here. Look at these. Sea salt Cape Cod Waves. They are great for dipping. 40% less fat, nothing added. I think I'm gonna maybe I'll get a thing of Cape Cods. Why not? You only live once. They got the BOGO going on the cottage cheese. Breakstone's cottage cheese, buy one, get one. For those in the know, BOGO. BOGO, buy one, get one. You understand. Well, this looks pretty good. Life magazine has a little Superman edition here. 1978, the Donner one, my favorite. Chris Reeve. I think I might get that. The Man of Steel soars again. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. Maybe some gummy bears. How about some gummy bears? There you go. Superman approved. All right, back to my golf cart. I just had quite the moment. I know I've spent a long time over in England and the Netherlands and France when I got this electrolyte Gatorade, rapid rehydration, and I went to unscrew the top, and the top popped off, and I was like, "Whoa, that's supposed to be staying on there." Now, when I first went over to the UK, and the top went like this, and it stayed on, it stays attached. I was like, "Oh, that's annoying. Like, why doesn't it come off?" But now I prefer the versions over there where the top stays on, less litter. I think they got something figured out there on the other side of the world. Also, keep in mind all the future plans that I was talking about a little bit ago. They might not come to fruition for another 5 years. I mean, this isn't something that's going to happen next week, but eventually. Leaf blower. Looking for gators. See any gators in here next to the golf course? Sometimes there's a couple, but they're being shy today. They're submerged. Yeah, I do a lot of thinking out loud, if you haven't noticed. Especially when I get back from trips. I have things on my mind. Really enjoyed this last trip. It was a good time. 3 weeks being gone anywhere from home is a little much. I'd like to shorten that into next year as well. But this year, staying the course, it is a hectic. It is like full throttle now until the end of the year. I mean, it's kind of always like that, but I think it's going to be more hectic now than it has been the first half of the year. A lot of travels. A lot of fun. But no gators. I didn't see any gators in there. Speaking of the new Superman film that comes out technically tomorrow, but it's playing at Disney Springs, I was thinking about going and see it this evening because I really love Superman, my favorite superhero. Love DC Comics, Batman, Superman. Superman a little bit more than Batman, but love Batman as well. But I don't really feel like going over to Springs tonight and dealing with the hustle and bustle there. But I do want to see the new one, even though original 78 Richard Donner. That one's hard to touch, but I saw the trailer for the new one and it looks pretty good. But I will not be seeing it tonight, but hopefully before I leave to go to SoCal in the next 5 days, I'll go see the new one. This guy. Come on, that's Superman. Here's an update on my magnets from the other countries. So far I've gone to 7 countries in 6 months. England I kind of threw in there in January and this month as well. So I started off with Belize. That was the first country I went to. Then I went to England at the end of January. Then in February I went to Ecuador. I did 2 weeks in Ecuador, got some magnets, had some experiences. Then I went to Canada. I spent some time, 10 days or so in Vancouver, Canada. Where did I go after that? Oh, I went to South Korea after that. That would have been, let's see, January would have been Belize, Ecuador, February, March, Canada, April, South Korea, May, where did I go in May? Yeah, where did I go in May? Oh, Mexico City. July, I went to France. So that's it. It's easy to forget things when you just constantly go, 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 go. So it's good to have souvenirs, things like that. Have the videos out and go back one day and look at those. So that's so far, this is my international magnet cabinet wall. And then I got my Disney wall. And then my US magnets over here. I do have some theme parky stuff. For example, I have Phantom Manor right here. Not Morden Manor, that's at Old Town. I got confused and I called it that first day Morden Manor, but Phantom Manor. Even though that's a Disney, it is international, so I have it wedged on there. It's interesting too. I only purchased one magnet from the Disney parks. I got some other souvenirs, but only the one magnet. I really loved Phantom Manor. I have a tea kettle arriving today too off Amazon. Also, before leaving town, I need to take this over to my storage unit, and I also need to go and look around at some Halloween decorations that are now at some of the local stores. So I need to do that before leaving and going to SoCal. Put this in the storage unit along with all the other ones I've already moved over there. Purchase some new stuff, look at some of the stores. So I might take a day and do some Halloween shopping before leaving to go to SoCal in 5 days, give or take a day. I can also say I'm the proud owner of a leaf blower. I purchased a leaf blower with the batteries over there just to like blow the porch off, blow the garage out, do whatever, makes things easy. And I wanted to be part of the leaf blower club, so. I ended up laying down on the couch over there, turned the lights off. Well, I have the light behind me on now, but turn the living room light off, laid down on the couch. 2 hours later, I wake up thinking, where am I? It was kind of hard to comprehend that I was back in Florida. I was thinking I was either still in Paris or Amsterdam or somewhere. Got a nice little power cat nap, a lengthy power cat nap, and my tea kettle has now arrived. Pretty excited about this. I do drink a lot of coffee, but I feel like sometimes during the day I don't really want another coffee. I usually drink one coffee in the morning, pretty large coffee, and then later in the early afternoon I'll have another one sometimes, but sometimes I just drink the one when I'm out and about. But it's usually the venti, it's usually a bigger coffee. But sometimes I want something other than coffee throughout the day. The last time I was in England, I had quite a bit of tea. Most of the hotels there have tea kettles. So I kind of got my first taste of how easy it is to use a tea kettle. So I ordered one, and I just unboxed it, and I ordered some little starter pack of Twinings tea. Now I've had the green tea before. I've had the English breakfast before, which I really like. These are a few of the other ones that are kind of just mixed in. A nice little mixture that I could see which ones I like. I know I like English breakfast, but there's a bunch of different ones in here. There's a chai tea, there's a pure peppermint, green tea, Earl Grey. And the brand name is Chefman, boils faster. Let me hook this thing up and see if I can have a late evening. Well, it's 7:20 right now. Rays game's on. As at the moment, they're winning 2-1 over the Red Sox. So we'll see how I think it's the 6th inning right now. Make some tea, finish off the game, and then eat my salad and stuff a little bit later. And I found a good spot over here next to my Keurig. And then I got the kettle all set up. It is a plug-in to the wall type of unit. And it looks like there's different temperatures that you can choose. So let me just turn this on. Ooh, it's lighting up red. Let's see, temperature. Let's go with the 200. Right there. Now what do I do to turn it on? Nope, that's not it. Okay. Might have to check the info card here on the Chefman. No. Maybe it takes a minute to warm up. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it's boiled. Okay. It's not as fast as some of the kettles that are in the hotel rooms. Some of those, you just turn it on, hit the button, and it's like whoosh, out of nowhere. Let me grab the info card. All right, according to this, the different colors, the one I have it on right now is purple, which is a coffee flavored, so I don't need it that hot, I guess. We'll go with the full heat. Features and presets, temperature presets, power button. There's also, you can also put your tea in this little tube thing right here. I think I'd just rather have the water and then throw the tea bag in there. Fill the kettle to at least the minimum line. Okay, I'm above the minimum line. Place water in it, place the kettle securely on the base and plug in. Put the lid on with the infuser attached. Press the power button, kettle will default. Press the temperature. Once the desired temperature preset is selected, the water will automatically begin heating. And then you can use the infuser and all that. Step 3, steep according to directions as you like, typically for an average of 4 minutes. When finished steeping, that's the cooking, lift the kettle off its base to serve. So this is not as fast as some of the ones that were in the hotel rooms, but yeah, 3 or 4 minutes, pretty quick to boil some water without having to use the stovetop. There are a few different English breakfast blends. You got the decaffeinated, you got extra strong, and you got the regular. So it looks like all these packets are just one of each. That's how many different ones there are. Sure, as time goes on, I'll probably just find the ones I like and just stock up on those. I think Epcot sells these. Also, it'd be kind of neat to buy some Twinnings from the tea shop at Epcot. Need to get back over to the Disney parks while I'm here as well. Yesterday, I was doing my flight video. I was in the Air France lounge. I was talking about how I ordered a tea kettle. It was going to be here when I got home. And I put the water in first, and then I put the tea bag in. And people quickly corrected me that that is not the correct and appropriate way to make tea. You put the tea in first, or you put the bag in first. Then you put the water on like that. A proper cup of tea, if you will. There you go. I got my Walt Disney Studios Park mug, which made the commute home. Let that steeped water in the kettle. Pour it in there with the bag. Got my new mug. Got all my mugs over here. I got a couple in the strainer as well. I got a lot of mugs. I guess they're coffee mugs, but now they could be tea mugs. I'm not going to stop drinking coffee, but you know, throughout the course of the day, after I've had too much coffee, I can have some tea. I can have a spot of tea. Look at that. It's already all starting to tee itself up. Well, the Rays blew it. Put the bullpen in, I think the 7th or the 8th inning. Gave away a few runs. They were doing well. Had the bats, hit some home runs, 2 home runs into over the green monster. And then they put the bullpen in and blew it. So not going to make it to the postseason and not going to make it deep in the postseason unless the Rays can fix their bullpen problems. Offense doing good. Lots of bats. But yeah, the pitching in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, definitely the issue. But that game's out of the way. Carrying on. Also, I was speaking earlier about the Eventual podcast type of video podcast room, deep dive type of things, interview room, just talking about things, going down a rabbit hole, more specifically, showing some things in greater detail than being out and about, more of a desk style video podcast for the future. This is the room that will probably happen in. Right now, it is, dressed in a different fashion, and I'm still kind of working on this room. This is probably the most unfinished room in my home, but I have the cabinet here, which reminds me of the cabinet from Beauty and the Beast. This was left over from the previous owner of the house. It was in the garage, one of the few things they left when I bought the house. And I was going to get rid of it, and then I realized this room was pretty empty for now. So I have my old couch from my apartment when I lived on Market Street, which is very, very heavy. It's like one of those ones you plug into the wall, and each side of this will open, each side will open up so you can have like a footrest on it. And this is probably the most heaviest piece of furniture that exists. So it's in here in this room. And then I got the Route 66 sign up on the wall there that my buddy Doombuggy Jim gave me. He had it in his place and he didn't have room for it, so I was like, I'll take it. So I got it in here. So this is kind of the unfinished room, but eventually this room will be rethemed. But for now, again, it might take a few years before I kind of go into that project. And today was kind of a thinking out loud day with what the future holds. I'll be 51 in August. On August 10th, I'll be 51, coming up very soon. It's hard to believe it's almost been a year since my 50th. And who knows, 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, things could be a little different as far as how much traveling I'm doing and stuff, but still staying the course, still constantly traveling and doing things and living life and seeing new things, having different experiences. But you never know what the future holds. You always gotta utilize what you're given at any current time. So that's why I'm always doing stuff now. But I also have eyes towards the future. And that's why one of the reasons I bought this house, just to get it dialed in, because you never know what could unfold. I don't even know why I'm even saying this, because nothing is happening. There's nothing dramatic that's going down or anything like that. But I just wanted to have a place to lay my head that was paid for. Wasn't gonna get evicted. You know, if crap ever hits the fan or life changes, you always want to have a spot to lay your head and have a roof over your head and you know, 4 walls and things like that. So it's good to plan for the future, but also stay busy in the current days. I have decided to throw a James Bond Roger Moore classic. I believe this came out in the mid 80s, 85, right here according to the screen. So I've rented it, streamed it. View to a Kill, Roger Moore. I believe his last appearance as James Bond. And I haven't watched this probably since the late 80s, back in the VHS video store days when my family and I would rent movies. Living in Niceville, Florida, I believe my dad rented this and we watched it. I don't think I've seen it since then. I've seen a lot of James Bond stuff. My personal favorite James Bond is Sean Connery. But I think close second would be Roger Moore. I don't know, sometimes Roger Moore overtakes Connery, but I feel like Connery's the number one. My friend Greg from Greg's Game Room, when I was in Paris when I went to the Eiffel Tower, I was mentioning how, you know, European Vacation and other films use the Eiffel Tower. Hundreds of movies have used the Eiffel Tower. And he was like, oh, you should give View to Kill a rewatch. Or I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he mentioned this film, so I'm gonna settle down from the Rays' loss, the bullpen blowing it. And I'm gonna watch this into the evening and eat my Publix. Also, I want to go up to the Corridor Goons and show you a couple things. So I got the tea kettle that arrived, but I've also got a cork board, a pin board, that I'm probably going to put either down there or maybe behind this door here at some point, because I'm running out of space over on these Disney pin boards, and I feel like I need a little bit more room, especially for all my Mickey pins. So I've added in some of the new ones I've gotten. I got the Disneyland Paris pin down there, and then all this area here, all my Mickey pins. You can see I'm running out of room. I think I might buy a couple of the pin books that they have at Magic Kingdom or Epcot, or any of the park studios, Animal Kingdom. They probably even have them at Disneyland. They have these pin books that are really, really nice for ones that I don't want to have on display. But I think I'm going to give Mickey his own pin board. Maybe my Mickey pins could go over there in the corner or behind the door or somewhere. But then I might take a few of these. I've also got some in some bags down here that aren't on display that I could put in those books just to have. Because sometimes I don't buy pins just because I don't have room for them. But there's some pins I feel like I need to have. That way I can just keep the collection going. So you might see in the next day or so a rearranging of these. But yeah, I got Mickey here with the Eiffel Tower. Right there. I wonder what his favorite James Bond is. His might be Timothy Dalton. I don't know, Mickey's might be Timothy Dalton. I like Dalton as well. So I got a few new ones. I got the Phantom Manor. Right there, Stitch. Stitch almost needs his own section as well. So basically I have these organized. Like I got some Disney Resorts up there. I got some D23s. I got some real classic ones up there, like the Paper Fast Pass ones, Great Movie Ride, MGM Studios era, Five-Legged Goat. Right there, all of my May the 4th pins. I wasn't able to get a 2025 May the 4th, which is kind of a bummer. They were sold out, so I'm on the hunt for that at some point to get a 2025 one. Similar to that, maybe I'll find one on a pin trading board or something, or I mean, worst case, I could always go on eBay or something, but yeah, I like this one too. So I got all my Mickeys in the one area. I got Salacious down here. This is definitely my nerd room, I call it. Got all my retro stuff. Got the old Large Marge license plate I had on my RV. I need like a Mini Marge sticker for the front of Mini Marge, kind of like that. Be kind of neat. I don't know if I have room for a license plate on the front of Mini Marge, but I do have a license plate on the back. It has to be tagged and registered when you have a golf cart here in Celebration. So, got to do things the right way, or the HOA will be not happy with you. Man, it's hard to believe. It's been 10 years since the 60th, the greatest Disney year of my life at Disney parks. This is definitely a good little room full of nostalgia. I've definitely come to the realization, I mean, it's been pretty obvious, I've definitely come to the realization in the last year or so that I get most excited about nostalgia. Like, for me, I have to have nostalgia. I think one of the reasons I had so much fun at Disneyland Paris was because of the nostalgic element of some of those attractions from what I remember from Magic Kingdom and Disneyland and MGM Studios. I don't get as excited about places where I see things that are completely new. It takes me a little while to brush away the newness and build up a little nostalgia for something, even in, it's just, I definitely focus on the past a little too much, but that's just how I am. That's just how I am. That's the things I get the most excited about. It's a mental thing. And there's a few other people that I know are kind of that way too. Dragon Con carpet. If you know, you know. Old school Dragon Con carpet. That's from the Marriott. Right there. All right, anyway, I'm going to go prepare my meal. I'm eating a little too late, but get my chickpeas, salad, etc. And go from there. Turn this light off. Woobraham Lincoln here. And that's going to do it for today. Yeah, I do want to see the new Superman at some point. I do want to see the new Superman. Just didn't get around, didn't really feel like going over to Springs today. But I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. The vlog is over.